Clark Luthor got up early so that he could make his way to the Kent farm in Smallville. He had stayed late at the Kent's apartment in Metropolis after they had eaten dinner. Jonathan and Martha had spent the entire time reminiscing on their happy life together. Clark was glad they didn't ask him to tell them about his life because he had no memories he could dress up as Clark Kent's. Nothing that would remotely fit the loving family he was sure Clark Kent grew up with. And with everyone in Metropolis banding together to help him get rid of kryptonite, it was imperative everyone kept thinking he was Clark Kent. Before he could leave his room, there was a knock on the door. He opened it and saw Tess standing there. She smirked and said, "Hello, Clark. Surprised you're here after Lois practically paved your way out of Suicide Slum in gold." Clark was too shocked to speak, so Tess just walked right by him into his room. She looked around and was obviously judging the room harshly. Clark finally found his voice and asked why did she come. Tess said, "Why to see Metropolis' new hero in the flesh, of course." Clark answered that Lois called him a mysterious vigilante, not a hero. Tess said, "Yes, you seem to be Lois's new pet," which is strange because she hated Clark Luthor. Clark did not know what to do. Keep up the Clark Kent pretense or admit to Tess who he really was. Before, Tess was the only person he trusted, but now he didn't know what to do. Tess went on, "I guess she saw a different side of you, one you never showed me." Clark could see that Tess was angry, probably angrier than she's ever been, and he knew there was no way he could take her into his confidence. Just then, Lois walked into the room and said, "I told you before, Tess, this isn't the Clark you knew." Tess just looked at Clark and said, "No, it wasn't." Clark finally said, "I guess you saw what you came here to see." Tess brightened and said, "Actually, I was wondering if you were a reporter on your world like my Clark. I figured a job at the Daily Planet would get you better accommodations." Clark said he was fine where he was. Tess answered, "You really aren't my Clark." Clark began, he hated to be rude. Tess finished, "But you and Queen have business? The offer stands if you change your mind." Tess left the room. Lois turned to Clark and said, "Look, I'm no fan of the Dragon Lady either, but she's right. A job at the Daily Planet could get you out of here." Clark said he'll think about it later and asked why was Lois here. Lois said, "I called my contact at Swan Communications and he cleared the way for you guys to bring the kryptonite to Princeton." Clark said, "Thanks, but couldn't you have said that over the phone?" Lois said, "If you think I'm not going to tag along, you've got another thing coming." Clark said, "I don't think we will need an intrepid reporter to help us destroy kryptonite." Lois answered, "No, but you will need my name to get you through the door of the lab. So come on, we got to get a move on before Malcolm Malone gets on your tail."